traded salt for stone somehow. The waves below, the peaks above, I walk the edge of what I love. The air is thin, my lungs complain, each step a little more of strain. But something in the cold and plain is scrubbing clean my weathered brain. I passed a village made of stone, houses built like they've always known that wind and time and bone alone are all a body can ever own. The people watch me pass them by with eyes that question who and why, but no one stops, no one denies the stranger walking toward the sky. Far away, barely there, a sound that isn't wind, a thread of something warm, sad, human. He tilts his head, listens, frowns. What is that sound upon the air? A voice that isn't really there, a note that sounds like someone's prayer for things the wind can never share. It weeps upon the air. Sad before my mind, they turn from path they leave behind, the trail I thought I was assigned, and follow what the wind has twined. The Serbaha drone beneath me holds a note that all my walking molds into a shape that slowly folds around the sound my heart beholds. Stops walking, closes his eyes, doesn't move. That is the sound upon the air, a voice that is most truly there, a note that sounds like someone's prayer for things the wind can never share. It weeps, and I am there. I am there. Heard a sound I've never heard. It wasn't music, wasn't word. It was a voice that hadn't heard everything it ever loved. I leaned against a wall of stone, my legs forgot to hold my bones. I wasn't sad when I left home, but now I am. That doesn't know he's there. It's just playing, just weeping, just being. was, the leaving, the loss, the because. But this was sadness without cause, without a name, without a pause. It made me miss my mother's face. It made me miss a warmer place. It made me miss a child's grace. I never knew I'd misplaced. I asked him, what is that sound? He didn't stop, his eyes stayed closed. I asked again, he played around my question like it wasn't found. Then, this is what apricot wood sounds like when it remembers being a tree, when it remembers sun and rain, when it remembers growing free before it was cut, before it was shaped, before it learned to weep for me. Maybe days, I sat and watched in stone amazed. The sound went through me like a phase of grief I'd carried all my days, for things I'd never had but lost, for love I'd never named but cost, for bridges I had never crossed but mourned like rivers I had crossed. And saw a tree standing on a mountain free, roots deep in the earth and me just a branch that used to be. You hear the word, not me. I am just the breath. The wood remembers everything, the sun, the rain, the death. You think the sound is sadness, no. The sound is witness. The wood saw everything. Now it tells you that's not sadness, that's completion. The old man put it in my hands, this piece of wood from distant lands. He said it knows what it demands, more breath than any man commands. I put it to my lips and blew. A sad and dying thing came through, a ghost of what the wood once knew, before I killed it with my new. My ignorant and clumsy crew. My lungs are burning, head is light. The note comes out all wrong and tight. The wood expects a different might, a deeper breath, a longer flight. The old man sits and watches me. He doesn't smile, from me, old wood. I've given everything I could. My breath, my time, my solitude. What's missing in my attitude? The wood doesn't want your struggle. It doesn't want your sweat. The wood wants your witness. It wants you to not forget the tree that stood on the mountain, the sun that kissed its leaves, the hands that carved its body, the grief that it received. You think you're learning to play, but no, that's not the truth. You're learning how to carry the sorrows of your youth and every other sorrow that ever came to be. The wood will hold them all if you just set them free. A breath deep from somewhere lower, a note not perfect, but present, not strong, but true. The note holds just for a moment, just long enough to feel. He opens his eyes, surprised. The old man nods one. I don't know what I'm playing. I don't know what I'm saying, but something in me's fraying and something else is staying. The wood is not an instrument. The wood is not a tool. The wood is just a witness to everyone who's fooled themselves into believing that grief can be controlled. It can, it must be breathed, it must be held, it must be told. I didn't know I had this much. I didn't know I held so many things I'd never touched, so many cards I'd never dealt. The duduk doesn't judge me. It doesn't care I'm weak. It just keeps on receiving everything I speak. Before I left, he played one last time. Not for me. Just played. And I finally understood. The first, it doesn't ask anything. It doesn't prove anything, it just is the old man's hands doing what they've done for a lifetime. The melody is older than him, older than the village. It moves like water, like wind, like something that has always existed and always will. Watched his hands, they didn't move like mine. They didn't struggle, didn't try, didn't demand. They just rest on the wood and let the wood remember through them. I used to think the duduk wept, but that's not right. It doesn't weep, it holds everything that ever wept and lets it be. His hands know this, his hands have learned that you don't fix the grief, you just make space for it. There's a part that sounds like mourning, like waking up and finding the sun's still there despite everything. His hands play mourning, his hands play lost, his hands play frost, his hands play every winter he ever walked through and every spring that followed. I closed my eyes and saw not pictures but feelings, generations of feelings, all of them held, all of them allowed, all of them finished. This is what it means to become old. Not to lose, but to hold. Everything you ever were, everything you ever lost, everything that ever broke you.